What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much for tuning in. It's me, Mikey fucking Pipes. It's Thursday, day after hump day, December, I want to say the 11th, 2025. 8 minutes after 6 here in the morning in the great communist state of New York. I woke up at the alarm today, surprisingly, where I proceeded to smash that snooze button. Got an additional, I think 7 or 8 minutes when you hit snooze on Siri, So it's 8 minutes after 6 now. I had a wedding last night, family wedding. We went all the way in the cesspool of Brooklyn. Went to this place called Ateres Chynka. Ateres Chynka. Yeah. Sounds like a fucking venereal disease, I swear. And I'm not hungover because when you go to these, like, Orthodox weddings, especially the ones when the men and women sit separately at the actual reception itself, let's just say, thank God you can always count on good men food at the Tish. You guys know what I'm talking about, who know what I'm talking about. But the alcohol, I was drinking a lot of ice water, I'll tell you that. I did try, like, the Chassan and Khal's version of a tequila sunrise at the bar where they had mixologists. But I just had one of them, and I was like, nah, it's not for me. And even like the Macallan Quest that was at the Chassan's Tish. Whatever. Anyway, it's Thursday. While we're at this wedding, I get a phone call from one of my properties, and they're like, we have no heat on the first floor. I'm like, fuck. I was like, but it's perfect excuse to get me out of here early, especially when you're waiting till like 9:30 for the bride and the groom, the Chassan and the Kala to come out. Yep. So I kind of like got saved by the bell. It's Thursday. We are driving to, I think, Whitestone this morning with Derek. And we have a new residential client. They got a problem with their furnace. We're going to head it over there. And then we'll go into Valley Stream. Got a client with a problem with their heating system. And then I got to fix a tub spout. Yeah, hopefully it's just like a switcheroo, Slip on, slip off. You know what I mean? But Thursday, I woke up this morning like, fuck, I gotta like feed people. I gotta create content, and I'm not really in the mood. But I gotta tell you, hit that snooze button, and then right before that second alarm goes off, let me just start perusing through my phone. I'll start at the NewYorkPost.com on DuckDuckGo. Because if I go to NewYorkPost.com on Google Chrome, I'm going to get blasted with advertisements and pop-ups. So, yeah. So I'm just down the corner from the shop, pulling up now. Let me get that espresso. Hit you up in a minute. One of the things that I like to do every morning is I count how many service calls are on my schedule. So right now there are technically 3, but there's only 2. So I'm going to add 2. And then add 1. And I put these branding stickers in my pocket. And when I service equipment today, I will put those stickers on said equipment. And I usually give, generally, not always, I'm keeping it real, I usually give a sticker and a sticker and my business card upon arrival at the front door the first time I meet a client. I was like, hi, Mike Dyke from Pipe Doctor. I am a master plumber, an HVAC technician. Here is my card, and everyone loves stickers. Here's a sticker. And it already sets the mood and puts a smile on their face. It uplifts the client because they're already stressed. They have a problem in their home, their place of work, and they have no idea in most cases what it's going to cost to fix, and it's always a concern. Always. Just like the other day where a client had this 11-year-old A.O. Smith water heater, and they no longer had hot water because it stopped being reliable and dependable. And they had no idea what it was going to cost. And then when you have that language barrier, they happen to be Korean. I'm going to guess South Korean, because you don't really see people from North Korea around here. Let's keep it real, you know. Kim Jong-un, he keeps them that shit locked down. So you don't know, but break that ice. You know, people are comfortable doing business with those they can relate to. So if you're there cold as ice, looking like this at the front door, you're going to have a problem. It's not going to be so easy. And that's one of the things, role-playing, is what we're going to do in tonight's first class of Season 2 of the Mikey Pipes HVAC training facility. We're going to be talking about standing pilot, electronic ignition, thermocouple, pilot generator, pilot systems, components of a atmospheric venting, gas-fired water heater. It's going to be fun. Estimated to be around 2 hours today, so I will definitely be able to record some of that class and post it on the Mikey Pipes HVAC training YouTube channel, where I have yesterday's video of that, which I think is a phenomenal 15-minute video on just that. It's awesome. I'm looking forward to starting up the class again, and it's good stuff. So yesterday, I just want to make this quick because I really need to have like another shot of espresso. But you know, you go to a wedding, and thank God I have no more weddings for a while. No more. I think there's no weddings in the schedule anymore. Thank God. We had a lot of them. Whew. But yesterday, I just want to make a quick little segment and then call it a day and wish you guys well. Yesterday, I have this estimate, and it's a neighbor. So I was like, all right, I'll stop by. And it's not like a neighbor like right down the block. It's a down the block and around the corner and down that corner. So it's like the one neighborhood over. And they wanted a price to replace their hydronic boiler, and they're thinking about getting one of these. And I was like, all right, send me some pictures. And I was like, oh, it looks fairly easy. I was like, you know what, let me just, maybe I see how I can chew down the number a little bit. So I head over there, and they're like, Mike, I really appreciate you coming out here. Like, yeah, no problem. So we take a look at the boiler, and he goes, you know, and so they go, what is this going to cost? So I like to tease people or just prepare them with, you know, some numbers. Like, here's a very good example. You know, you go into a home, they're replacing whatever, and you're like, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, like, I got a question for you. What do you think this is going to cost? And I was like, what do you think? You know, because when's the last time, don't even answer that question. Like, when's the last time you had to replace your HVAC equipment in your home? Was it in the last couple of years? 5 or 6 years at most? And you know the answer is, they're going to say no. I think it was in our last home 20 years ago. I'm like, yeah. Well, you know, I have, just to set some realistic expectations, you know, I have a majority of our clients that, you know, for a full furnace, high efficiency furnace, central air conditioning, heat pump, dual fuel system, pay upwards of, you know, $35,000, $45,000 all in, with ductwork modifications, upgrades to the new, you know, sealing all the ductwork, you know, keeping everything airtight, because, you know, you don't want to buy a brand new car that's designed for, you know, optimal efficiency on a freeway and highway, but you're only driving it back and forth, you know, to the grocery store on a dirt road. You know, you're not going to drive a Rolls Royce like that, right? But this Rolls Royce uses a fraction of electricity and a fraction of energy to properly heat and cool your home. And then I have some customers that pay, you know, in the high teens or the low 20s, mid 20s. And that's how you set the tone. Just like you set the tone when you're ringing that bell, knocking that door, standing at one step down at a 45-degree angle within 45, 60 seconds of pulling up in front of the customer's location. So my neighbor, from the neighborhood next door. So, and I kind of like, set that tone. I was like, well, we'd just like to see if we could do it cheaper, maybe. The cheapest possible. And I'm like, okay, now I know what I'm talking about in my head. And I maintain the same composure, the same poker face the entire time. I really think we talked about this already in a previous Uncensored video, but I'm like, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, like, you know what? If that's really what you're looking for, let me politely decline the opportunity to bid on this project for you. Because it really would be doing a disservice to me and my company, the reputation that I built over decades. And I don't want to waste your time here, right? And I was like, most of these guys, these sales techs that come out to your home from these not big box, but these big outfits that honestly, they're all owned by private equity now. The original principals, they may still be there for licensure purposes, but imagine, like you're one of the best individuals at your profession, at your job, and you design this perfect system, right? But someone also tries to do the same job without the same expertise, without the same experience, without having a service mind where if I do it this way, it's going to make the next person's job that much harder. Because a lot of these quote-unquote sales techs, well, maybe last week they weren't selling HVAC systems. They were selling windows and doors and roofs, right? And they show up in a suit and tie. Now, you had mentioned to me earlier that you wanted a quality company to do the job for you, right? And that's why I'm here, right? So are you looking for the cheapest price or the best value? And if you want a great price and the job done right, well, that's why I'm here. And that's why you call me, because I'm the neighborhood company. I'm the neighborhood guy. And there's a few other guys that are in the neighborhood like me, equally as experienced and competent, also do phenomenal work. And I welcome the opportunity to you give them a call. But if you're looking for the best price, be careful what you pay for. And then I wish you the best. Ye who talks next loses. They actually took a moment, and they're like looking at each other, like you know what, Mike, like, let's get back to him. Like maybe we could stretch this for maybe till next summer or the next fall. Just ready to see if they're going to say anything next, and I was like, yeah, sure, that's great. Whatever you want to do. I was like, but just a lot of people wait until, it's present again, like out of sight, out of mind. And I said, if you're really serious about making a sizable investment into your home, such as replacing your heating equipment, doing it in the middle of the winter is not the best ideal time, obviously, right? Because it's kind of like, you're inconvenienced, and you know what, it's just, I'm not saying you're going to get whatever you can get at the supply house, but if you're serious about replacing your HVAC equipment, let's reconvene, before next heating season, or like in August or September of next year. Don't call me in July or in late June. Say, hey, Mike, I'm ready to replace it. I was like, because I'm going to politely decline, like I am now, the opportunity to bid on this, because we're going to be smack in the middle of our cooling season. And we have, like we did past heating cooling season, the year before that, and so on and so forth. We have clients that have no cooling in their place of work or their home, and, they're schwitzing like a momser. A whore in church, in case you're wondering. So that's that. And they took sticker with the QR code. And I said, Mike, can you put, if you have an extra one, could you put it on my water heater as well? I'm like, I got you. And then, as I close right now, I'm looking at the hydronic Repco or oh no, it was a hydrotherm boiler. The Sears by water heater in the unfinished part of the basement. Looking over there and I see the main water valve. Okay, it's a ball valve. I noticed a 3/4 inch. Good technician observant of their surroundings. And I said, I'll tell you what, I have just a little pop quiz for you. And then I'm gonna leave, and I thank you for your time. Appreciate it, neighbor. It's nice to shop local, and I really appreciate that. Thank you. And even if I don't get the job, if you want me to review something that, you know, you tried to go with someone else, I have no problem doing so, right? I was like, there are 5 important valves in this home, water valves, that will take an emergency situation and maybe turn into an urgency at minimum. I was like, oh yeah, they're the main water valves. Like, yeah, I was like, yes, correct, Mr. Jones. Mrs. Jones, you know where that valve is? She's looking at the water heater. I'm looking at it. I was like, I think it's over there. I was like, if you're home, and I'm not trying to be sexist here or anything, right? I know, because you probably work harder than your husband does, and he goes to work, and you probably go to work too. I was like, well, that's besides the point. I'm not trying to like be politically correct right here, right? But if you're home alone, and water's pouring from the ceiling, right? Like uncontrollably, you're in a panic. Let's keep it real. You're gonna panic. Which valve are you gonna close? Like, she's oh, fucking all of them. I'm like, right? I was like, you see? And there's a reason why I'm here today. I was like, I am gonna send you, or I'll put it in your mailbox tomorrow. I'm gonna give you 5 of these valve tags that are gonna be pre-punched and pre-marked with some 5 little zip ties. You're gonna put one on this valve, and I walk over to it as I'm pointing to it, and it's the main water valve. You're gonna put one on there. That's the main water valve, the one after the meter. See the pipe coming out of the ground? That's coming from the street. See that one valve there? Don't touch that, right? Because if that breaks when you're turning it, you're fucked, right? The one after the meter. Put a valve tag there. Now, if your water heater is leaking uncontrollably, what are you gonna do? Like, we walk over to the boiler and water heater, you're gonna close this valve. And you see this red one with this brassy looking valve, that's the gas. You're going to turn that clockwise with your hands. You don't need a wrench. It'll be very easy to turn. Clockwise only goes in one direction. That's your gas for the water heater. And then I go to the boiler. If your baseboard, convectors, radiators, whatever is leaking uncontrollably, water's pouring out of the boiler uncontrollably, you close this valve, turn off the gas, turn off the switch, and now you turned an emergency into an urgency. We signed them up to replace the boiler right after the 1st of January, after New Year's. That's how you build value. Catch you in the next one. Be well. God bless. I got cut off there, but my thumb. Be well. God bless. Stay safe. That was take 2.